Ramo, Sam the Sham, and the Pharaohs. I gotta figure out who the hell it is covering this, because this is awesome. Alright, it's 7:50. The shop is definitely done taking in new cars, which is a bummer, because the last thing I just moved out of the gatekeeper was in need of an oil change. And that's like the quickest, one of the quickest, easiest things for them to do. Right, I'm really struggling with pants tonight. I put these on clean for the party last night, and they're still, you know, really clean and everything, but they seem to fit good. Good enough that I wouldn't need a belt, but yeah, not with all the walking around I'm doing. They keep slipping down, and it's driving me fucking crazy. And of course, I don't have a belt in the car, so I just gotta tough it out for the rest of my shift. At least I'm over halfway done. Yeah, I think that's Poindexter's truck over there to my right, but I haven't seen him at all tonight. I'm taking my break right now. Still haven't got my replacement EBT card. I'm not even sure if I'm receiving mail right now, so I gotta definitely get that squared away. Oh, you know, I said I was gonna move that stupid sunshade out of my back window, and it's still blocking it. All right, one minor problem with my car solved. Now I can see out the back so much better. I still really need to clean this car in a big way, but it's a whole lot better than it's been in probably over a year. Nearly a year, something like that. Hey, headlights would help. So I don't have my EBT card. All out of bread at home, but I hate to pay cash for bread. Oh, I'm torn between going to Taco Bell right now and going to Burger King. Decisions. I think I might hit Burger King. I noticed a while back that they didn't have the signs with the 2 for $5 Whopper Juniors, and I thought that was over. And somebody, I think it was Steve, had mentioned to me that, oh yeah, that's a really great deal. That's what I always get. And I said, oh no, that deal's over. And came back to me a couple days later. It's like, it's not over. I just went there and got it. So, I don't know. I saw the promotional signs taken down from one of the Burger Kings I used to go to regularly, and I just assumed that meant it was over. But yeah, since then I've seen that deal displayed in drive-thrus. So I went through the drive-thru with Steve the other day. I didn't order anything. I was just riding shotgun in his vehicle. That was actually Thursday night. Oh, I was going to talk about the new guy. Yeah, that was Thursday night. Yeah, so not long into our shift, and I can't believe I didn't even notice it happen. He sat down behind me, and he was so quiet. For some reason, I thought Steve had opened and closed the door, and I didn't pay any mind. He was so quiet when he got behind me. He didn't introduce himself or anything and say hi. I was sitting forward, looking forward in the passenger seat. I didn't realize there was somebody sitting behind me. Steve had gone into the break room for something, and we were sitting on the north side of the break room. Actually, no, we're sitting on the south side of the break room. But anyway, why aren't you going, dude, in the food truck? We have a green light, and there's nobody coming. Oh, it's not a food truck. It's a vehicle with a trailer. I guess he was worried about how quick he could accelerate. Still, that was a long time to wait to make a left turn when he could have just made a left turn. See, I didn't realize it in the car. That was kind of awkward. The thought there was somebody sitting behind me and I wasn't even aware of it. And I give other people shit about their situational awareness. I mean, my God, that dude could have fucking shanked me. But anyway, yeah, like Whopper Juniors, I haven't done that in a while. And since I did a DJ gig, I have some cash on me. Yay. Hello?
How can I help you, sir?
Yeah, can I get the $5 Whopper Junior Duo? I want to get the bacon and cheese Whopper Juniors.
Okay, anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right, 544.
Sweet, thank you. It's a damn good deal for $5.44. especially since, you know, we have cheese and bacon. It's like a Dodge Challenger in front of me. I drive quite a few of those at work. I haven't driven any today, though. Yeah, 20 in my pocket. I just might have to break the 20. So those seltzers, the hard seltzers, called Topo Chico. Never heard of those before. That's what the cans look like. Spiked sparkling water, exotic pineapple. Not really into those, but what the heck? I'm sure at some point I'll have somebody come over that wants to drink them with me. And, oh, you know what? I thought that was a full bottle of water. It's not. Yeah. Not even sure why I'm messing with that. I wonder if that was that car washer's bottle of water and I snagged it. Whoops. No. Empty that out and cycle it. I just poured it over into the bushes to my left. It's a desert. All plants need as much water as they can get. So yeah, that guy was sitting behind me for a couple of minutes. I wasn't even aware he was there because he was so quiet. And to me, that's kind of creepy. In fact, if I was just say you describe that guy in one word, I think creepy would be the word I'd go for. I think his name was Jeremy or Jeremiah, something like that. Young guy, white, blonde hair, very scruffy, kind of disheveled looking. You know, if I was doing a live action movie of Scooby-Doo, I could cast that guy as Shaggy. Just saying. He said he walked to work. Steve asked him if he had a vehicle when we were walking to the parking lot on break. And he goes, no, he said he walked and lived close by. And I'm like, really? Where? Because there isn't much in the way of residential close by. And he said 16th Street and Roosevelt. Which, okay, that's a pretty hefty walk from here. I mean, I'm assuming he doesn't live at the corner of 16th Street and Roosevelt. I'm sure he was just given a cross street. I'm the only one pedantic enough to, you know, give exact addresses when people ask where I live, or like a side street, cross street that's real close to me. But yeah, to this intersection here at 16th Street and Buckeye, it's a mile and a half to the north to Roosevelt, so that's a bit of a walk. And then it's a good, you know, quarter mile walk-ish from here into our break room where we work at.
$44.
Thank you. I need to get myself something to drink. And,
Stepped up Israeli air and ground attacks in Gaza continue.
Yeah, I don't want to hear anything about that. I just don't care anymore. I'm completely apathetic to that war thing. It's an A and B situation I feel Americans need to see their way out of. That's my opinion. I just don't even want to hear about it anymore. So, like, it doesn't affect me, you know? You know what affects me? All the homeless people. And the fact that here in the Phoenix area, the average labor job doesn't pay enough to rent an apartment. Those are things that affect me. Those are the things that I consider news, not some war in a place that I'm not even convinced is real. See what I did there? I said is real, but so yeah, I'm gonna head over to Circle K. Get myself a fountain drink over there. So I guess his name was Jeremy or whatever. He sat behind me for a while in the car, which is creepy. Like, and then apparently when Steve was in the break room, Rob had told him to train this guy. So he gets in the car, says hi to the guy, says he's going to train him on maintenance, and at this point I'm like, I thought he was talking to me, and then I turned around and was like, oh my God, there's a guy behind me. Creepy. Well, I could go on at length about this guy, but he just didn't really Didn't really pay attention to anything. Said he knew what he was doing when obviously he didn't. There were several times we had to kind of drive around and follow him until he finally stopped to let him know that, you know, where the fuck were you going with that? I mean, I don't know why it's so hard for people when they're asked if they know something, if they don't know that something, to answer no. Why is that so difficult? I mean, this is his first day. It's expected that the answer to that question in most instances are going to be no. But Steve's the one asking the questions. So I told Steve to train him, so I was making no efforts to train him. I don't know. I want to say I don't enjoy doing that, but I got a lot of mixed feelings about that. But unless I was told to do it, I ain't doing it. He told Steve to do it, let Steve do it. That's fine. I'm riding shotgun at this point. But yeah, a handful of runs where he was driving, and it was doing not terrible, but not particularly great either. Doing a passable job for his first day, you know. I mean, honestly, at that point, my most frustrated thing with him was just Steve asking him if he knew where something was going, and him saying yes, when in fact he didn't, and then all the time that was wasted chasing him around and then trying to tell him where he needed to go. Instead of him just saying, no, I don't know where that goes, so Steve could have said, okay, no problem, follow me. And he really seemed to struggle with the concept of going into the gatekeeper line, putting the hat on it, and then going to where he was going. Like, that concept just seemed to just escape this new guy, because he kept driving past the gatekeeper line damn near every time. But it got much, much, much worse from there. Anyway, at one point, like, we didn't have a whole lot going on, and then we get to a point where there's vehicles to move, and this guy is sound asleep in the back seat. Like, he's laid down and he's out. He's sawing logs. I'm not about waking up strangers. That's not my department. You know, I came this way thinking I could turn left to go into Circle K, and I should know that there's a median there that prevents me from doing that. So there just came a point where he was so sound asleep, and Steve didn't want to wake him up either. So it's just back to me and Steve working, and this dude snoozing in the back seat. He probably spent over half his shift sound asleep in the back seat. And you know, and there have been a couple of times I've dozed off in the back seat or riding shotgun, but just, I don't know, wow at the whole situation. All right, I'm back. Got my drink. Was able to use the smart checkout without any issue. That's something that I normally can't do. Of course, most of the time that's due to the fact that you better not stop near my car, you dirty motherfucker. And some of these really dirty, nasty homeless people just move in such sketchy, erratic ways. And yeah, that guy, I thought he was getting ready to open my rear passenger door. Glad he kept moving. So it's 8:08 p.m. The guy in front of me to my left, I don't know if the camera's catching him or not, but I don't know what the hell he's doing, but seems to be adjusting his belt. Gotta be a little jealous, huh? I don't have a belt right now, and I keep having to hike my pants back up every time I walk. There's an employee by the front door kind of keeping an eye on everything. He does not look too happy to be there because he doesn't seem to have the power to run people off. The guy getting on the bicycle, apparently he's actually a customer. He seemed kind of sketchy to me, but he apparently went in and bought something. So that's worth something. The guy adjusting his belt, I don't think he's a customer. I think he's just loitering here. Always very interested people watching at this Circle K. New cashier working. She's apparently she's getting into shape, and the shape she's chosen is round. Woman is very round. Now this is the guy that looked like he was going to open the door to my car. I don't know what his deal is, but dude, get the fuck out the way. The guy is nasty dirty, and he's just walking in really erratic ways that is going to eventually result in him getting hit by a car. Oops, I guess it would help if I turned my headlights on. Whoopsie. So anyway, new guy, I think his name was Jeremy or Jeremiah, something like that. Yeah, he just fell asleep, and for a while we'd pull up and we'd try to, wake him up to move cars, but it just got so pointless. And he did wake up when it was break time, and that's when Steve had asked him about, if he drove, if he had a car. He said no, he walked. He lived really close, but then he said 16th Street in Roosevelt, which I wouldn't consider walking distance close to here. I mean, it's not far, but that's a little more than I'd want to walk. And then Steve had commented that, oh, you mean you walked over the bridge? And I'm assuming he's referring to the bridge that crosses the railroad tracks just south of Jefferson Street. And he said, yeah, and I said, you got to be careful crossing that bridge, man. There's trolls that live underneath it. He looked at me funny. And I've walked in that area and shot video in that area. And yeah, there's always little homeless encampments right underneath the edges of the bridge. And yeah, the people that live in them, they look like trolls to me. So the main reason I was rolling with Steve is roughly the half hour or so before we took our break, I was starting to get a really bad migraine headache, and I was concerned I might just have to go home early. It was getting really bad, and everybody I asked if they had painkillers on them said no. And Steve's like, well, you just go to Shell and get some. And I did, and it was kind of pricey. I think it was like $4 or $5, maybe a little bit more, for 3 little packets of 2 pills each. But it took care of my headache, and I was able to keep working. So I would have lost even more money had I had to go home for the night. So it's definitely lesser of two evils. Paying pricey amounts. I actually, for a convenience store, that's a pretty reasonable price, if I'm to be completely fair about it. But yeah, I get back to Steve's vehicle, and they're both smoking out. And I don't have any issue with Steve smoking. I mean, he's functional like that. Jeremy or Jeremiah, whatever his name is, not so much. I mean, he was already completely dysfunctional because he kept falling asleep anyway. But yeah, once we got back in the shack, that was it. He was done. There was just absolutely no waking him up. And the one point that we did get him up and put him in a vehicle, because I needed to move a vehicle and he needed to move a vehicle. Because when there was just one vehicle, it's fine, I can move it. But yeah, he got into a van. The Chrysler Pacifica. They look like giant dildos to me. But anyway, I got in a Chrysler Pacifica, started driving off. I'm surprised he didn't wreck it. Like, walking to it, he was just stumbling and could barely even walk. And at one point, he just drove it, and just, I don't know. It's hard to even describe what he was doing. It was just so erratic, and just went to the wrong place with it. And of course, I was dealing with the vehicle I was dealing with, and I forget what the deal was with it. It was a windshield chip. And then I got to the windshield chip area. When I got to the windshield chip area, I realized it all emptied out, which tells me that probably one of the managers had decided that we didn't have enough cars out to put out to rent, which is a common Thursday occurrence, and had told somebody to move all the ones from the windshield chips. Usually they go to the dollar car wash from there. So when that happens, I'm generally trying to find out, all right, what's the status of these? And talk to some kind of leadership or management or somebody, just to kind of get a confirmation on that before I do it with the one I'm driving. And then I drove by the gatekeeper line to see what was going on with Jeremy and Steve. And Steve's like honking the horn and yelling at him. And he had just left the car in a place where it was just in the way. It wasn't even parked any place, like in a specific parking spot. It was just kind of in a spot where it was in the way, near the entrance of the shop, kind of at the start of the not even the parts line, but or not even the shop line, but the 3 rows where they put things that are waiting for parts to come in. And he had gotten out of the vehicle, Jeremy, whatever his name is, got out of the vehicle and was stumbling around like he was just completely, well, kind of like that idiot in the parking lot that had walked by my car and I thought was going to get in my car. He was stumbling around like that. And I just looked at Steve and I'm like, yeah, I'm taking this to the, I said, they put all the chips out. It's a windshield chip. Said, Jesse told me to take this out to the dollar car wash. So once you're done with all this, and I just kind of gestured at stumbling, stupid looking, new white guy. Said, once you're done with all this, come get me over there. And needless to say, I sat there for a while until he showed up with the guy. Shortly after that, we tried to Steve, Steve was kind of in charge of all of this. And Steve rolled by Jesse and tried to get Jesse to take him into the van with the up-down crew by saying, well, we don't really need him. And then Jesse was like, oh, well, that's fine. Just go ahead and keep him with you for now, and we'll take him later. And was using the excuse of trying to pawn him off on Jesse as being that Steve and I both get off at 10:30 and that he's supposed to stay until midnight. Do you want to go ahead and, take him now? and unfortunately, Jesse didn't want to take him now. That might have been before the whole ordeal. I actually think that happened before the ordeal with the Chrysler Pacifica. But definitely after the Pacifica thing, like Steve and I maybe had a half hour-ish to go. And we saw the van and we rolled up. And we just sent him there. We didn't even ask them if we wanted him. We were just like, hey. Steve was like, hey, wake up. He reached his hand back and kind of shook him and goes, you need to go get in that van. And he got out and he staggered over to the van. I don't know what happened to him that night. I didn't expect to see him today because it's Sunday, but I'm eager to find out. I know Jesse's here tonight. At some point I want to talk to Jesse about it. Jesse and I are getting along pretty good now these days, by the way. But I want to ask Jesse what happened with that guy because, I don't know. It was just, I don't know what his deal was. But, man, the last few vehicles he moved, I was staying a distance away from him because he just didn't even seem like he was capable of walking, let alone driving a vehicle.